Greetings, fellow investigators, and welcome back to our video podcast, Into the Darkness, where my friends and I play the Call of Cthulhu role-playing game. I'm your host, Tom Rayleigh. The scenario is Mr. Corbitt. It was written by Michael DeWolf, and it appears in Mansions of Madness. I'm the game master, and this is episode 3. A recap will be given by Stephanie Mann as her character, Janet Olivia Ward. So without any further delay, let's continue our journey into the darkness. Stephanie?
Dearest Mabel, I hope this letter finds you well. All is fine here. However, I simply must relate to you more of the irregular goings-on in our quiet corner of the world. As you know, per our last correspondence, that reclusive Mr. Corbitt gave us a tour of his lovely, if not strange, greenhouse. Well, the peculiarities have been piling up since then. On Sunday night, during our weekly bridge game, I saw the most horrendous thing through the window. Mr. Corbitt dropped what appeared to be a butcher's package onto his porch while trying to enter his house. And I swear, Mabel, there was an arm wrapped in the paper. Well, no one else believed me except Frank. He saw it too. We contrived a plan to inspect the man's porch for clues to confirm the contents of the mysterious parcel, but sadly turned up nothing. Frank, bless him, made several inquiries around town to see if any bodies were unaccounted for, and Andy probed for missing persons reports. Clara even looked into misplaced medical cadavers at the university. Although they turned up nothing, it did little to put my mind at ease. Not one to be deterred, I took it upon myself to procure evidence and did what any proper lady detective would do. I went through Mr. Corbitt's trash can. Oh, Mabel, the horror! I found nothing damning, but I did manage to coat myself in the fetid contents within. One thing is for certain, Mr. Corbitt's family has been steeped in tragedy. Beyond the loss of his wife and child, the man's father perished in a dreadful accident, and his mother apparently died of grief. Can you imagine? Oh! And remember that hideous little statue I mentioned last time? Well, Clara identified the strange figure as a Hindu god of death, Yama, and a botanist associate of hers from the university said the flowers were very unusual, possibly some kind of new species. Clara, Andy, and my brother are dubious of what we saw and hesitant to participate in any further investigations. I fear my only ally in this matter is dear Frank. There will be no rest until I get to the bottom of this. Wish me luck, dear Mabel. All the best, Janet.
Excellent. All right. So I recall as we left off, it was still July 3rd, but it was late in the evening. So it's your choice whether you want to start on 4th of July with the party or not. 4th of July? Okay.
Got all the steak ready. I don't see why not.
Yeah.
All right.
I had those steaks.
So, Clark, what time is your party? What time is the get-together beginning?
Oh, it's going to be a little bit earlier, so we can sail on into the evening. I'd say everyone should get there like about maybe 4 p.m.
Okay. You probably have a complement of food and fireworks.
Yeah.
Things like that. All right.
Well,
so, everybody arrives. You probably have other friends as well that show up, and families and everything else. So it's a big to-do. That morning, you all found baskets of fruits and vegetables on your porch with compliments from Mr. Corbitt and apologies that he wouldn't be able to attend your get-together.
as per usual.
It is usual.
I feel bad for him. I wish he would he would open up a little bit more, but I respect his privacy.
It's hardly surprising given all the tragedy he's had in his life.
True,
Man must be some sort of melancholic.
Oh, Frank, it's going to be okay. Don't have such a sour look.
Yeah, Frank. I just don't know what I'm going to do with all these extra vegetables. I mean, I haven't finished off the last basket he gave me.
Oh, we could probably give some to our friends here. I'm sure they'd be happy to have them. Do you have extras?
I might take the basket into the police department. Let the boys, take some home to their families.
What a generous idea.
All right.
It's only Wednesday, isn't it? Did we find out what day of the week it is?
Did we determine that?
I think it is Wednesday.
I believe it was Wednesday.
Okay, it's Wednesday.
Well,
and I imagine some of the officers are on duty today anyways, because it's still 4th of July and there's things going on. But the rest of you, I think, are all off, unless Frank gets an emergency call for someone. So it's 5 o'clock and 6 o'clock, and you guys have eaten. And there's still a couple of hours left of sunlight. Is there anything you would like to do or anything you'd like to plan today?
The botany professor at the Miskatonic was really interested in seeing Mr. Corbitt's greenhouse. I'm hoping he'll allow him a tour, maybe shed a little bit of light as to what he's growing in there.
Oh, that is
Clara,
quite interesting.
Maybe you and I could take a plate of food over to Mr. Corbitt since he declined to join us this afternoon.
The neighborly thing to bring him some food, of course.
It certainly would be.
Oh, make sure to bring some of the steaks. The steak was excellent.
Yes, definitely, Andy. Yeah. Good job on those steaks. All right. Well, yeah, let's go bring him a plate.
Okay.
Frank, I noticed that you didn't eat much. Are you okay?
No, I'm perfectly fine. Perfectly fine with the meal was fantastic. It was fine. It was fine.
All right. So, Clara and Olivia, you put together a nice plate with some meat and vegetables and potatoes and maybe a slice of pie or whatever you guys have brought. And you walk across the street to Mr. Corbitt's. His car is in the drive, and as you go up to the door, why don't you do a listen roll?
Is a 13 a hard success?
That's a regular success.
Okay. You both can hear music playing inside. Sounds like 1920s. Maybe he has a record player. I don't know if they had record players or if they had Victrolas, but it's one of those things. You can hear it playing in the background. It sounds a little distant, like not right in the front room, but maybe in a kitchen or back room or something. As you step up onto the porch, what would you like to do?
I'm going to hand Clara the plate so she can knock on the door, okay. And I'm going to peek through the window.
Okay. Janet, do a luck roll.
23. That's a pass.
Okay. Just before Dr. Clara knocks and you sort of lean over and peek in the window, you see Mr. Corbitt. He's standing in front of the fireplace. There's a mantle over the fireplace, and he's looking at some photographs that are in frames up there. And he seems to be lost in thought. So you don't really see his face. You're seeing him just sort of standing there looking at something on the mantle.
Can I make out what it is the photographs are of?
I'll tell you, do a spot hidden, because it's a kind of a funny angle. And you're kind of looking through gauze curtains too into a...
Oh, no, that's a fail.
You can't see who it is, but, well, you'll see in a minute if he opens up the door. So do you knock?
Oh, yeah.
You knock, and he comes out of his sort of reverie, and he walks over to the door. He opens up the door. Oh, hello, ladies. How are you this day? Happy 4th of July.
Oh, yes. Happy 4th of July.
We brought some leftovers.
I
for
see.
You.
And he opens up the screen door, and he says, please, would you come in for a minute?
Oh, of course. Thank you.
Oh, that'd be lovely. Thank you.
He takes what you give him, and he walks into the kitchen, which is just in the back, around the corner. And you hear him set it down, and he comes back. So while you're in here for a few moments alone, what do you guys want to do? I think I know what you want to do.
Janet, did you see anything when you were looking through the window?
I'm going to gesture at the mantle piece, and then just kind of casually stroll over and take an admiring glance at whatever ephemera is up there.
You can see that there are pictures of his family, and probably the one he was looking at was his wife. She was a very lovely woman. Of course, that was 12 years ago. Mm-hmm. So she looks a lot younger. There might be a wedding photo too of the two of them there. He looks a lot younger too. You can see how hard times have aged him a bit.
Oh,
he's still a good-looking man, though.
He looks so happy in that photo.
They were such a handsome couple.
We certainly don't see him smiling like that.
Thank you so much for coming. This looks delicious. I'll enjoy that this afternoon. Would you like some coffee or tea? I know you have a party going on.
Some tea would actually be lovely, Mr.
Yes,
Corbitt.
yeah.
That would be wonderful.
If you don't mind.
Would you like to come in the kitchen?
Oh, yes. That'd be great. Thank you.
So you step into the kitchen. It's very neat and clean. It has a lemony smell to it, which is very pleasant. And he puts some tea on. And as you sit, there's like a little breakfast nook looking out into the backyard, into the garden and the fruit trees and so forth. Please have a seat. I'm afraid I don't bake cookies usually, so I don't have anything like that.
I've had enough sweets at the picnic today.
Yes, that pie looks delicious. So is everybody enjoying themselves?
Oh yes,
yeah.
It's been a wonderful little party. Clark always does such a good time. Good job during
quite a few cars out there. Family.
Yes, some friends, some family. Mm-hmm.
Yes, acquaintances from around town.
That's nice. And he gets some cups down and sets them there and puts some tea in them.
Mr. Corbitt, I've always admired how immaculately clean your home is. I myself and Lizzie were so busy working. Do you have some help that comes in? Because we would love a recommendation. No, I did. It's kind of, I don't know, ever since I was a boy, I was very neat and tidy. Very commendable.
Well, and it was kind of reinforced by medical school. I ended up becoming kind of, germ,
right.
fear of germs.
I didn't know you went to medical school, Mr. Corbitt.
Well, I didn't complete. I started at Miskatonic, and then my father had his accident.
Oh, yes. So sad.
And I had to take over the business. But it gave me general knowledge of medicine. And it kind of carried over because I'm very meticulous with everything at work, and my books are in perfect order, and And of course, I'm not really a dictator. That sounds like, some people can be really real sticklers for that sort of thing in other people, but I don't mind cleaning up. It's very nice to clean and think and garden and think.
You say cleanliness is next to godliness.
Indeed.
I'm sure it can be very meditative. Speaking of the Miskatonic, Mr. Corbitt, I had taken some pictures from your beautiful greenhouse and I brought them to a botany professor, and he was fascinated and really was very interested in if he could, sometime at your convenience, of course, come and look at them. He thought it might be a real feather in the Miskatonic's cap to have some new samplings of some species that we haven't seen here before.
There's nothing really that unusual in there. Perhaps, give me his number or give my number to him. And
I will. Thank you very much. I know he's really going to enjoy that.
Yeah, it's, I suppose it's unusual, so much of the world, if it's Europe or if it's America, most of the plants have been cataloged and so forth. But when you get into some of the Asian areas, the India and China, and there's just not that many people going out there looking for plants.
Not in our records, maybe in theirs, but certainly not in ours. He was very fascinated. And you grow such beautiful plants, Mr. Corbitt. I'm always impressed.
Growing plants is easy when all you have to really do is think about the environment they come from and just try to recreate that. That's why I have a greenhouse. The winters here would kill every single plant in that greenhouse.
Still, you must have some level of patience and understanding for them.
It's true. I mean, I tend to document things in an almost medical sort of manner. It's just been my hobby. Botany's a hobby. I think I mentioned to, maybe it was Clark, that I'm constantly working on different kinds of fertilizers to see what will work and what some plants burn with fertilizers and so forth. But I guess a little bit of my medical knowledge has helped me with, knowing at least how to do basic chemistry.
That's so fascinating.
Yes. And I'm sure there's probably just amazing stories behind all of your plant finds from your travels.
It's oftentimes just a matter of walking along and noticing a plant and thinking, that looks interesting. Maybe I'll get a sample of that. Plants are usually pretty easy to propagate. You just need a piece of the plant and you can usually get it to root and it'll grow.
Is there one particular plant that you are like very proud of or think that it was the most effort or something like that?
Well, the one in particular that you mentioned with the blue flowers, I've wondered a lot about that one.
That's the one the professor was most curious about.
Yeah, I think that it's very unusual. Did he notice that it has 7 petals?
Yes, he did note that. He noted that was very odd. And he explained a little bit of that to me.
So yeah, I've been trying to figure that out. It's an odd number of petals. Orchids have 6. It's almost always a multiple of 3 or 4 on a flower.
So interesting.
Even daisies, if you count the petals, it's still going to be a multiple of 3 or 4. So 7's very unusual, but it could be like in orchids, it could be that 2 of the petals have fused.
Okay.
And made the illusion of 7 petals.
Right.
When there are really 8 petals. That I would need a botanist, a real botanist or a biologist to figure out. So maybe your friend can figure that out.
Yeah, mutually beneficial. I think he would be interested in studying it, and maybe you get a little bit more information out of it.
Maybe. It would be fun anyway. I could ask him some advice on some of the things that I grow.
Of course, sure.
Well, here's the tea is ready. Let's put this
thank you.
out.
Yes.
Tell me about yourselves. Dr. Claire, I think you said you were working on something.
Oh, I'm an art history professor at Miskatonic, and I have been seeking some educational grants to take some of my more fastidious students to Italy to study some of the great works there, of course. Now, my personal place of worship is the Louvre, of course. In fact, that's actually where I met Lizzie. But it's been some years since I've been to Italy, and I think it would be a good opportunity for some of my students who've never left the country at all.
I think that would be very interesting to be able to see those things. I've never been to Italy.
Mr. Corbitt, you must go sometime.
I mean, I've seen pictures. I've heard it's incredible. I guess my forte is India. I've been there more.
I've never been. I'm very fascinated by that. Religious iconography in general fascinates me. Your little statue was just so interesting.
Yeah, I picked that up in India on one of my travels, although I don't quite remember which one it was. Some other art as well. And he says, bring your tea. I'll show you something.
Okay. No, thank you. Yes.
And he takes you into the living room. And he has kind of like a display case with curios in it. Mm-hmm. And there are some odd little things in there, some whistles and stuff. And there's this one rather strange looking knife.
How fascinating.
He says this is used in religious rituals. And it's difficult to explain exactly how it's used because I don't really understand the depths of their religion.
Mm-hmm. It looks positively dangerous.
Well, it's not actually used as a weapon. It's a way to focus the prayer to a single point in the universe, which is the point of the blade. Mm-hmm. I also have this on the wall. Which I thought was very nice. He has a framed painting, and in front of it is a page also framed, or to the side of it is a page also framed of translation from, I think, the Bhagavad Gita. That's what he'll say to you. But
so exotic.
It's an interesting text. Why don't you read it for us?
Yes, of course. As they stood poised for the battle, Prince Arjuna hesitated to attack the enemy with his army. Vishnu, in the incarnation of Krishna, encouraged and motivated him by explaining how the universe functions: life, death, reincarnations, Brahman, Maya, and how it is an endless cycle. Prince Arjuna wanted to understand, so he asked to see Vishnu in his true cosmic form. In an instant of time, shorter than the beat of a bird's wing, it all unfolded before his mind. He could see it as no living creature had ever seen it before. The overwhelmed and humbled Arjuna cried out, "Tell me who thou art in such a fearsome form. I bow down my soul to thee, O most glorious of gods. Be merciful, O primal essence. I wish to understand thee because I cannot fathom your intentions." With a thunderous voice like mountains colliding, the Supreme Lord said, "I am death, the destroyer of worlds, and today I am out to destroy. What is time or space to me? All your petty hopes and fears are nothing. Whether or not you go to war to me is irrelevant. Every man here arrayed for battle will die. They shall all cease to exist. From my perspective, they have already been destroyed by me. I am the universe and I command. All things are one to me. In this place and time, you are only an instrument of my will."
You can see the icon, the picture, reflects that particular scene.
Well, it's certainly powerful.
It is. It's so interesting to see different religious understandings of gods. You know, the Christians believe in a more benevolent God. Some believe in a more vengeful. It's just very interesting to me. That's a beautiful work of art.
It's very deep, and It's something you could spend a great deal of time thinking about.
Oh, for sure. Yes.
Well, ladies, don't let me keep you from your party.
Mr. Corbitt, this has been lovely. Thank you so much for the tea and for showing us around a little bit. Your beautiful home. This is very kind of you.
You're very welcome. And he shows you to the door. And you guys leave.
Wow, that was certainly interesting.
I know. And my goodness, that passage. Oof.
Just, it makes, that seems like
depressing.
I don't know. A little bit questionable, maybe. Certainly exotic.
Yes.
It makes me think that India would be quite a fine setting for a novel.
Oh, yes. Something mysterious far off lands.
Yes,
Ooh.
And cults of murder, death, and destruction. Just seems... Yeah.
Maybe you could even manage to get a trip out there, for research purposes.
I shouldn't hope to dream. That just seems so far-fetched. A woman traveling there alone.
Oh, well, we could go together, Janet. I've always wanted to view the religious iconography over there. I'm only mostly familiar with European art.
I wonder if Clark might like to go as broadening the business. Maybe there's some sort of textiles or fabrics there he might find exciting.
Well, the two of you are coming. Yeah, you guys are rejoining the party.
Walking back over.
Well, that was certainly interesting.
Sounds like it. You were over there for quite some time.
Yes. Sorry to just walk away from this lovely party, Clark, but...
Oh, no, don't feel bad about it.
Well, he invited us to sit for tea, and then...
Always a nice man, Mr. Corbitt.
He certainly has a sense of decorum. He showed us some very interesting things he's collected in his house. I don't quite understand it. Clara could probably explain it better.
I think it must have been Hindu iconography, and then this passage to go along with it. It was so just strange. This God talking about how, man means nothing to him, and he has already destroyed all of these men preparing for battle, so he cares not for them in this fight. And it was fascinating. And then this little instrument he showed us. I agree with you, Janet. That looked like a weapon of sorts, but he insisted that it wasn't.
Well, one thing's for sure, it could kill a man.
You all know that Mr. Corbitt went to medical school? I had no idea.
That was very interesting. Did any of you know that, Frank?
No, I did not.
Clark?
I've always known him as
antiquities dealer. Yeah.
Yeah.
But I do know he's had a lifelong love affair with India as he's incorporated it into his business. So I'm certainly not surprised that he has an affection for their lore and artifacts.
Of course.
He travels there quite frequently. So this all makes sense.
Yeah, and your wife was just telling me, Frank, about the beautiful elephant he gave you.
Yes, the one that he gave us, yes, that one.
Yes. So it doesn't surprise me that he has such interesting trinkets and stuff like that from India. He must bring some really choice items.
I'm sure he does. I'm curious to know if he keeps some of the most interesting things for himself. We only saw a few things. I'm sure he has other things around his house.
I should have asked to use the little girl's room.
Oh, Janet.
Well, maybe we could have one night where we might have a dinner and regale one another with our stories of our travels. In that way, we might be able to familiarize ourselves a little bit more with his travels.
Oh, yes. Think of it, just to go off to the Far East.
Mm-hmm. Jen and I were just talking about that. Some kind of trip. Maybe we could wouldn't that be just a jolly good time? All of us traveling to the Far East together.
It would be quite an adventure.
Well, you guys can do that, but I have a job to do around here.
Oh, surely they give you
Same
some
with
time
me.
off, Andy.
The streets of Arkham are required for me to be here.
Work, work, work makes
And
Andy
the
a dull
dead
boy.
don't wait.
That's
So-
true.
So as the evening wears on, you guys set off some fireworks and have a display. Is there anything else you want to do this evening until you get to the next day? Okay. So you all probably are up late. You probably, there's lots of kids. There was no school. We'll say that they give you a couple days off of school and then, wait, there's no school going on right now. It's July.
Summer vacation.
Some colleges are still going. They're on their summer schedule. That's why the college is still open. But none of you have children, right? You have kids.
Minor.
You have kids that are grown up.
Grown, 25 and 28. They're off.
I deal
Right.
with Boy Scouts, but that's
Only my
on
lovely niece and
weekends.
nephew. And the cats.
And Frank and Beth don't have kids.
Okay. But your niece and nephew don't live with you, do they? Janet? No. Okay. All right. So you guys stay up late, you party, you have fun, you enjoy yourselves, and you end up going home and going to bed. Next morning comes. So you're going to go more or less back to your normal routines, unless you're taking another day off. Clark, are you taking another day off or going back to work?
I'll go back to work. Half day, but still get
Okay.
the business up and going.
And Frank, what were you going to say?
I'm just gonna call a day off unless there's an emergency.
Okay. And then Officer Andy, are you working today or not?
Oh, of course. It's always busy right after the 4th. I mean, we got people that are in the trunk tank, and there's stuff we have to follow up.
All right. So Clara and Janet, you guys are working from home or not working at all. What would you guys like to be doing today?
Oh, I imagine I'll go visit with Janet, have a cup of tea, go over the gossip of the neighborhood.
Okay.
Maybe keep an eye on Mr. Corbitt's house.
I will mention to Clara as we have our little morning coffee conversation. I'm very much interested in looking up some more of that Indian religion stuff and perhaps a trip to the library if you're not busy today.
Of course. Yes, of course. Let's go. And we might actually have better luck at the Miskatonic's library. But whichever one, of course.
All right. So Clark, you go to work. So we'll do before lunch. There's a lot of people in town for the 4th of July. So you actually find that your business is kind of booming for a moment. People taking long promenades up and down the street. So they keep coming into your shop and maybe you can make some sales. That would be cool. Frank, your place is kind of quiet. Nobody's dying. Darn them all. Officer Andy, what would you like to do today?
Yeah, I want to check up on that suspect that I have for the jackal. I'm
Okay,
gonna go.
Tomaszowski.
Yeah, Tomaszowski.
Are you going to check at his work?
Yeah, I'm going to check in his work first, especially since I have a friend that works over there that
Okay.
I can find out. I'll go over there.
And is anybody accompanying you?
Oh, yeah, I'm going to see if my partner, Dave, is around. Dave Whitethorn.
Okay. I think that Stuart's going to play Dave, at least temporarily. As Dave suddenly appears out of nowhere. Give him a second to appear out of nowhere. let's see. So you go down to the precinct office, you check in, you write up what you're going to do, and you pick up Dave, and you drive over to the hospital. The hospital is still busy. Seems like there's a lot of kids with minor burns and a couple of lost fingers from the fireworks, some singed hair. As you pull in, you walk inside, and your friend is behind. He's behind the counter. Excuse me, I've just got burps all of a sudden. It's like, Officer Andy and Officer Other Guy. What was the name again? Sorry.
Whitethorn.
All right.
Dave Whitethorn.
And Officer Whitethorn, what can I do for you today?
Just checking up on stuff. How is our friend doing?
You're talking about Randolph Tomasowski.
Yeah.
Well, the guy does his job. I thought about questioning him, but I don't know. He gives me an odd vibe, like he's a nervous little rat. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I know exactly what you mean, which is why I kind of, I'm a little bit watching him a bit.
Well, I mean, if you've got something you want to ask him or you want to talk to him, he's like up on the 4th floor. I think he's once again like cleaning an ER room, so he's going to be alone.
Yeah, we could do that. I was also thinking, what do you think, David? I thought it was Dave. I was thinking of that, or maybe we would check his locker.
I think that's the best idea. Not confront him right away, but just take a look around the environment.
And the security officer kind of looks around, and he says, "Give me a second, I'm going to find the number." Says his locker's going to be a 103. There shouldn't be anybody in there right now.
All right.
And he says, go down the hall, make a left turn, and go through the door, the blue door. And that's the... and here, let me give you a pass.
Thanks.
Thank you for your cooperation.
Have like a badge that says you have access. All right. So you go down the hall, make a turn, go down to the other hall to the blue door, and you step inside. The lights are on. There are showers in the back, if employees need to take a shower. There are a lot of extra supplies and things in here, and there's rows of lockers. You go to 103, and there is a padlock. They've all got padlocks.
I'll do a pan around the.
There's nobody else in there.
All right, go. Yeah, this is the guy, Dave, that I was telling you about. Someone else had, fingered him possibly for the jackal, but didn't follow up on it. So I checked it out, and this guy is a petty criminal and done some other things. It wouldn't surprise me if this guy, if he's not the jackal, knows a lot more about it.
Okay. Yeah, the last I heard, he was the number one suspect, but there wasn't a lot pressed on him.
Yeah, and I got this itch, you know what I mean? And I thought, I wanted you to be aware of it, and because you usually have the night shift.
Yeah.
So you can kind of keep an eye on things. Yeah. It's locked. You still know how to do that trick you used to do when you were a kid?
Oh, I sure do. 1 second here. I'll take out a little, two little pens of metal here.
I'll say it was this much for you and your father. You sure know your way around a car and motorcycle engine.
Yeah. All righty. Do a lockpick.
Oh, yeah. Pick one.
Okay, that looks pretty good. That's a 36.
Yep.
Okay. So it takes you just a couple of seconds, and you manage to pop the little lock. You take the thing off, and you open up the locker. Now,
Carefully, very carefully, slowly.
His regular everyday clothes are there. He has kind of a leather jacket and black pants and stuff. He's wearing orderly stuff, which are just the blue cotton. But all of his regular stuff is in there, including his wallet. What would you like to do?
I'll do a quick once through on the wallet.
Okay. It's Randolph Tomaszowski. He is how old? I don't have all my stats here. Hold on a second. He is 27 years old. And he's registered. He's got a driver's license for Arkham, Massachusetts. But nothing seems out of the ordinary.
No jackal calling cards.
No jackal calling cards. He does have a few dollars in his wallet.
Nothing unusual there. Any interesting phone numbers?
No, there's no phone numbers. He doesn't have a credit card or anything like that.
I take a look up using my pencil. Take a look around the upper part of the locker.
Okay. Well, I mean, other than clothes, maybe there's a hat. Just a regular, everybody's same style hat. Were you looking like at the jacket and stuff?
Yeah, and then making anything underneath it. Maybe he has something in the back corner.
All right, do a spot hidden.
All right. 33, so that's a success.
Okay. You can feel that there is something heavy in his breast pocket inside the jacket.
Take a look. You using my pencil and take a look.
All right.
It seems to be in the breast pocket.
As you reach into the pocket, you can feel what feels like a small chain and a circle of some sort, metal. You pull it out and take a look at it.
Whoa. Take a look at this, Dave.
Yeah, it looks rather peculiar.
That would be fitting with someone who's doing the stuff that's going on. We'll put it back in there.
Yeah.
We don't want him thinking that things have been checked out.
Was there anything carved on the back of it?
Oh, yeah.
No, it's just flat.
I write a quick description.
You can't read what it says. It looks maybe like Hebrew or something else like that.
I will try to. Can I do a little, take my pencil, put a piece of paper into an etching of it?
Sure.
Okay. Maybe I can get someone to look at that later on. All right. I carefully put the jacket back. Was there anything else? That it. Okay.
Nothing else. Car keys.
Let's lock this up. Then.
All right, you got it. All right, Andy. So I'll go to great lengths to put everything back just the way it was as I slowly opened it before I slowly close it back up.
Okay.
Lock it.
Nothing conclusive, but that necklace, that has me concerned. I would fit with the MO of someone killing people's pets.
Yeah, it does look like some of those stories of crazy people that follow mystical mumbo jumbo.
Yeah, and
Sometimes they end up doing all sorts of terrible things in their pursuits.
Yeah. I mean, this guy has me concerned, and this fits the local. This area is rife with people who are supposedly practicing witchcraft and worshiping Satan. So,
Yes,
all right,
it's the bill.
yeah. Well, we're just going to keep an eye on this. There's nothing conclusive, but I think our next bet is to maybe check out his place later on. Thanks for helping me out, Dave.
Oh, certainly, anytime.
Oh,
yeah.
Sorry.
And I wanted someone else to know besides me what I was working on. I mean, I know this has kind of gone on the back burner a bit, but like I said, I just have this itch. This guy is doing something.
Yeah, I'll keep good notes of what we found, and if I find anything that relates to this, I'll add to that and keep you up to date. I can do like a monthly call with you, or heck, I'll probably see you at the station every so often.
Yeah, well, we see each other once a week. So, during the chief briefing, and at least you can keep an eye on things going on at night, since, it's a little bit difficult for me since I do the day shift. I need to get rest just like you need to get sleep during the day.
Yeah. I wonder if we should, who was the officer that was last looking into this? That was a while ago. Wasn't that Mackenzie, was it?
Yeah, it was Mackenzie.
Yeah, I don't know if we want to pursue. But then again, Mackenzie seemed to drop this. Not sure why.
Well, he got dropped at that time point. He got that big case on the rum runners.
Oh, that's right. Okay. Yeah, that makes sense.
Well, it also was probably that if you don't have any evidence, then there's not anything that you can't hold a person forever.
Yeah.
So
yeah,
they questioned him and he didn't give them anything. So.
Oh, sorry. Yeah. All right, Andy. I'll see you later in the week.
Hey, yeah, you take care.
Right.
Have a good one and enjoy that weekend motorcycle ride you like to do.
I can't wait. Cannot wait. Counting the days down. All right, Andy.
All right. Was there anything else you wanted to do, Officer Andy?
Yeah, that later on that evening, or after I get done with work, I'm going to go to the Miskatonic University, see if I can find someone who is a linguist or something with ancient, be able to figure out what this rubbing says.
Okay.
I might hit the occult department first. That might be my best bet.
That's a big department at Miskatonic.
Yes, I know.
All right. So nothing between now and then, because it's still morning.
Oh, yeah. I mean, but I got to do my work. So
do your work. Okay.
Yeah.
So you go back to work, and the day goes fairly normal for you. Clara and Olivia, you guys were going to go to the library. Did you decide which one you wanted to go to?
Oh, Janet, I'll let you pick. It's whichever one you'd rather go to.
Oh, I mean, I'm fine with either one. I think you're right. The Miskatonic one would probably have more what I'm looking for.
Maybe more academic, at least. Might have a little bit more information. Okay, let's do that.
Okay. When you go to the university and you look up Hindu deities, you can find books that talk about specific sort of major deities, Shiva, Vishnu, Brahman. And of course, Vishnu catches your attention because it's the same name as this. It doesn't give you, I mean, it gives you like a huge amount of information, but you basically get the sort of impression that you have gods and you have the incarnations of gods and you have the avatars of gods and the avatars are the gods in human form, almost akin to Jesus, except that, like Krishna, they aren't actually human. They're gods pretending to be human. You get that in Greek mythology as well, where Zeus will pretend to be a human, or Apollo will pretend to be a human. And some of them are somewhat indifferent to humanity, and some of them want to teach humanity the truth and get humanity to rise up. They believe in reincarnation, that we get multiple chances. Every time you're born and you get reborn, you become higher up in level. And where the gods are now is where we will eventually be, but the gods will still be our gods because they will have advanced even beyond that. And their views of death, because of the reincarnation, they're not really anti-death. They're afraid of death. It's like, it just means they'll come back. And outside of the game, I don't know very much at all about Hinduism. So,
Sure.
But you also get the impression that because of the avatars and the incarnations and all of this, that there are more gods in Hinduism than there are humans on the planet. And they all have different aspects. So you basically can find a deity to worship whatever you want.
For any occasion.
For any occasion, right.
What a novel idea.
But it doesn't really give you any insight into anything other than it's a curiosity for people who are not into that religion.
Mm-hmm.
And it would be hard to imagine Mr. Corbitt being a Hindu.
That's true. Yeah.
Living here.
He's eccentric, but maybe not that eccentric.
Right.
Yes, and I do believe he is. He eats meat, and I don't think that is. I think in the Hindu religion they're typically vegetarian. So that line, yeah, he must just have a passing curiosity with it. He spends so much time there.
I think Buddhists are more vegetarian. I'm not sure the Hindus are, because they have delicious gosht panan and delicious curries with all kinds of meat in them, but they don't eat cows.
Okay. See, I'm ignorant on all of that. So
hopefully he's not, because we've been bringing him over barbecued steaks.
Oh, I know. Hopefully we haven't offended him. Yes.
I feel like we've committed something egregious if that's the case. Clara, what about that?
Oh, yes.
The knife.
What did he say? That was for some kind of religious ceremony? Did he say that? And he said, like, focusing a point.
Some sort of universal energy. I just don't believe that it's not a weapon.
It looked like a weapon. I agree with you. It looked like a weapon.
I mean, what a dastardly thing to stab somebody with that, with all its little points and angles.
Mm-hmm. Is there anything we can find about that? Or is that also just kind of like lost in all of the many, many texts on Hinduism?
Do a library roll.
I'm going to push that.
Regular success.
Okay. Trying to remember. I think that it is called a Persia.
Okay.
Purba?
Purba. That's it. It's called a Purba. And yeah, it's not necessarily even sharp, but the idea is that it's almost like they would use it in a blessing where the spiritual energy is focused to the point which they touch, and that becomes like the center of the universe. That's
interesting.
That's a complete non-Hindu saying that he doesn't really know, but it is definitely an actual Hindu thing used in religious ceremonies, and it's not used to stab anything.
Seems like such a dangerous thing to make, but I guess if they don't make them sharp,
I suppose so.
Is there anything else you would like to look up?
I would like to look up, because I got so distracted the last time I was at the library with all the other stuff I was looking up. I imagine that the university has local periodicals in their records as well.
Newspapers and periodicals, yes.
I'd like to look up Mr. Corbitt's wife.
Okay. Go ahead and do a library roll.
That is a hard success.
Hard success. All right. So try to figure out about 12 years ago or so, you start going through the Miskatonic Sentinel, and you find this.
Obituaries, May 6th, 1911. Corbitt, Lynn Ann Myers, age 23, died in childbirth in her home. A graduate of the Pierpoint School, Miss Corbitt was married to a local businessman, Bernard Corbitt, a little over a year ago. Funeral services for both mother and child will be held Saturday afternoon at St. Paul's Church in Arkham. Miss Corbitt is survived by her parents, Edward and Shirley Myers, and her husband, Bernard Corbitt, president of Corbitt Importers of America.
Such a shame.
Sad.
Very
So
sad. Poor Mr. Corbitt. His life seems to just be dotted with tragedy.
I wonder,
Go ahead.
I can't recall off the top of my head, Clara, was her family local?
I'm not sure. Would we know that, Tom?
The Myers family, you don't think they were. You
Mhm.
think she moved here when she married him. You think they might be like Nebraska or something like that. So she came quite a ways.
I wonder how they met.
I wonder if she's
Interesting.
buried here.
Probably St. Paul's Church.
Mm.
Oh, that's just my morbid curiosity as a writer. What can I say? These things, the human condition.
Of course. I can understand. I know that whatever you and Frank saw, it certainly shook you. I could understand wanting to look a little bit deeper into that.
Well, it wasn't even in my mind right now. I just was just curious, his wife's portrait on the mantle was what brought it to mind.
Of course.
Clara, if you were assisting, why don't you do a library roll as well?
Regular success.
Janet, do another library roll.
No, but I'll push it.
You want to push it? Okay.
Yeah.
The whole library is going to come collapsing down on top of you.
Shelf after shelf after shelf, just dominant.
Terrible. That's that's an 80.
Okay.
Paper cut.
Yeah, you break a name.
Now we reenact the scene from The Mummy.
All right.
That's what I was thinking.
You, in fact, do not find anything else.
Look at this latest issue of Vogue.
Oh, fascinating. Yes.
And for 3 hours, you sit there looking at ladies' magazines, as proper ladies should in 1920s. All right. So after that, you probably head back.
I'll stop by the botany department just to give the professor Mr. Corbitt's number.
Okay.
So they have contact.
All right. Let's see. Do I remember what his name was? Professor Bill Rinko, professor of botany. He looks up from his desk. I recognize you, but I'm afraid I don't remember who you are from the other day.
Yes. I brought that photograph of that really interesting flower. We had a discussion about it. Yes. The owner, the cultivator of that flower is more than happy to show it to you in person. He actually has a very fascinating greenhouse with plants from all over the Orient. I have his number here if you'd like to contact him.
Oh, sure. Yeah, some of the other things in the background were really interesting.
Mm-hmm.
Do you know if he is he into that sort of thing?
Oh yes, from what he's told me, he keeps meticulous records of all of his plants, how he cares for them, where they came from. He likes propagating them. So but he wants to know more about the plant too. So he's interested in whatever you could provide information.
Yes, I actually was wondering if he was doing some sort of experimentation.
I'm not sure. I don't know. He did mention something about a special fertilizer. He experiments with his fertilizer. But he hasn't mentioned anything. I don't remember him mentioning anything about his plants.
Is he a rather mellow sort of fellow?
I think so. Yes. Well, I don't know, Janet. What do you think? He's very meticulous,
eccentric,
a little eccentric. He has a very clean home.
Oh, he does.
Yes.
Oh, well, then it's probably nothing.
Oh wait. Well, what is it you're thinking?
Well, I'm kind of embarrassed to say.
No. Of course not.
People have secrets, but I suppose nowadays some of this is not that unusual. Some of these plants that he's growing are drug related.
Really?
Oh, yes, this one here is most definitely cannabis. I think they call it marijuana.
Reefer?
Well, yeah, I don't think there was any reefer madness yet. But yeah, it gives you it's a somewhat of a depressant, but it makes you feel good. I think, although you've only got a black and white picture, the shape of the leaves on these over here, this could be cocaine. From the coca leaf, another very popular drug. But he's not like growing enough here to produce any kind of quantity of drug.
Enough for personal use?
Well, perhaps. Of course, in some places, it's used for altitude sickness. If you're climbing to a very great height, you can chew the leaves from this plant, and it sort of alleviates the headache.
He did. He from what I understand, he did some traveling in the Himalayas and might still do. So that might.
Well, this is a native of South America, but
oh, okay.
He may have acquired it from somewhere. You say he's a collector, so it could be that sort of thing. Maybe he has a theme. Some people grow specific plants. This one is digitalis, a foxglove. A lot of you in the town have that growing in your gardens.
Interesting. Okay.
But in large quantities, it's a deadly poison.
Really?
Well,
and
like
these
I say,
quantities you see here, or is it just?
Well, digitalis itself, foxglove, it's a beautiful flower. I'm sure you probably have them in your garden.
I certainly do.
Likely so.
As much as a single leaf can kill a human.
Oh my goodness.
They're quite deadly. But then there's a lot of deadly plants that we grow because they're pretty.
And it's quite pretty, yes. Fascinating.
So it's an interesting collection that he has.
Mm-hmm.
Indeed.
Would you mind, when you do go visit Mr. Corbitt, would you mind passing on any information you learned about this new plant? I am quite curious about it now myself.
Oh, sure.
Thank you.
I mean, if it's an unknown species, I might ask him if I can
spend some
record
time
it.
with it. Yeah, sure, of course.
The obvious advantage to letting me discover it is I could name it after him.
Oh, wouldn't that be interesting?
In general, botanists don't name anything after themselves, even though they're the discoverer. They always name it after somebody. And since he really discovered it, that would be quite pleasant. Of course, thank you.
Wonderful. His name is Bernard Corbitt.
Bernard Corbitt. Okay, I've got that written down. Thank you very much. Should be
Have
quite
a great day.
Fascinating.
Yes.
Just a quick question for you before we go. Is there a book available in the library here that I might check out about dangerous and medicinal plants?
Oh, well, sure. Yeah, I'm sure there's quite a few.
Fascinating. I can see the book title now, Garden of Deadly Delights.
Well, have you ever seen, you've probably seen some of those beautiful French gardens that look like they're gigantic knots tied of
Oh,
plants.
yes.
Those are usually all medicinal herbs, things that apothecaries would use and so forth. You said something about him making fertilizers. So I don't know, he might be using some of the chemical extracts in his ideas. Who knows? It'll be fascinating to speak.
Yes, I'm sure it will.
All right. Good night, good afternoon, ladies. And you guys leave. So we got to get something for Frank and Clark, and let's say that at some point this afternoon, the three of you are getting off of work at the same time, and you meet in the street in the middle of town.
But Frank was staying home.
Oh, that's right, you were staying home.
And I had a busy day at work. I was just going in for a half day, and wow, did it pick up.
I'm trying to get you three together somehow. We'll just say that Frank goes into town to pick something up, and because he's tired of eating remains. That's what you call leftovers.
Yep.
And let's say you all meet up somewhere near, I don't know, Clark's shop. If you're just on an afternoon walk.
Wow, what a busy day. I was just going to do a half day, Frank, and gosh, the people wouldn't stop coming in. It was great business, but I'm exhausted. I'm glad it's the end of my day here.
Well,
Frank,
that's good.
Clark, how's it going?
Whew.
Oh, hi, Andy. A wonderful day.
Just finishing up my beat.
Yeah, it's busy down here. A lot of people, a lot of visitors coming in for the holiday. It's sad to see them go. We had an extra 2,000 in sales today. It was a stellar day.
Oh, wow.
Whew.
Breaking in the
amazing.
dough.
Goodness. Ugh.
Yeah, it was tremendous. One of our best days in ages.
Wow.
So what would the three of you guys like to do? You could just walk home, or you could go snooping or doing something.
Well, Frank, you know something about the occult, don't you?
I've done my share of dabbling in my youth, and I am a Mason. So you might say I have a little bit of knowledge, yes.
Well, take a look at this. This is a rubbing I did of some evidence something I'm researching. I got a suspect in mind, and this is what we found. I hand him the rubbing.
Well, this is fairly simple stuff here, Andy. This is just it's a pentagram depicting Baphomet, typical symbol of the Satanic Church and the Satanic beliefs.
All right. Well, that puts me. I'm starting to be more and more confirmed. I can't, confirm anything to you, gentlemen, yet, but slowly building the evidence. Maybe I can solve at least one of the crimes around here that's been occurring.
Well, hopefully you will get to the bottom of it.
I hope so too. I have my suspect. Just a matter of getting enough hard evidence against him. Thanks, Frank.
Sadly, religious iconography, you can't really condemn a man for his religious creed, can you?
Well, unfortunately, this neck of the woods, when you get something like that, usually means people, pretending to do witchcraft or worshiping Satan, they usually means sacrificing animals and stuff like that. So, gotta
That
take a
sounds
look
like
into
what
it.
the jackal was doing.
Yeah.
What
I'm kind
sick
of working
mind.
an angle I have.
Well, I hope whoever it is, I hope you catch him, Andy.
So do I. No one deserves to lose their pet, that's for sure. Especially in such a horrible and misguided way. But we'll catch him. We'll catch him.
I'm sure you will.
Well, why don't we go grab a piece of pie? I mean, I just got off. I could use a cup of coffee and a good piece of pie.
That sounds like a good idea.
I concur on that one.
All right. And we'll say that as you, just as you are sitting down at the table and the waitress, you've already told her when you walked in the door that you'd like some pie. She's bringing you guys coffee and pie. You see Dr. Clara and Janet walking back towards your neighborhood, just outside the shop from the university, obviously.
Oh, well, I'll be.
Clark, do you want to grab your sister and Dr. Claire? Maybe they could join us for a piece of pie, a cup of coffee.
Well, that sounds like a great idea. Actually, I think my sister might be home. Maybe I can borrow there should be a phone booth around here somewhere. I could go give her a call.
No, she's right outside the door.
Oh, she's right. Oh, okay.
You see her walking by.
Oh, hey, sis. Janet. Oh, Clara.
Mark, what are you doing here? Are you on lunch?
Oh, we're just wrapping up a real busy day. We were thinking of having pie or something. Are you ladies around?
Oh yeah, I'm famished. We've been at the library and at the university, and it's just been such a busy morning.
What have you ladies been digging into?
Well, I contacted that botany professor again and gave him Mr. Corbitt's information. He did tell me, I think he mentioned it the first time and it just flew right over my head. But that Mr. Corbitt's growing some very interesting things in his greenhouse. Innocuous enough, but when you kind of put them all together, it does make an interesting story. He said he recognized, Janet, what was it? What did he say? Marijuana?
Cannabis.
Yes, cannabis and cocaine and foxglove. Innocuous things by themselves, for sure. Just interesting all together in one place, I suppose.
He said that just one leaf of the foxglove could kill a man. And to think that it's in all of our gardens.
Yes, Janet's already got a million ideas
flowers
for the next book. And we found his poor wife, poor Lynn, her obituary. So sad.
How did she die?
Childbirth.
Yes, she died from childbirth, possibly blood loss and anemia.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, I was the one that received her.
So terrible.
Was it at the hospital?
No, she had a home birth.
Yes.
Oh.
Frank, do you know her family's not local? Was she buried locally or did they send her to a family plot somewhere?
Oh no, she was buried over in St. Michael's Church. Was it
St. Paul's?
St. Paul's Church.
Is that where the Corbitt family plot is?
Yes.
Yes.
I wonder how they met. I think I remember him saying years ago, her saying that she was from maybe Nebraska or somewhere in that area. I wonder how they met. Interesting.
Are you thinking anything fishy was afoot of where they had her buried? Or?
Oh, Clark, it's just my morbid curiosity. You know that.
Well,
These old families and their traditions are just so fascinating. Like our family and how we're likely to all be buried back in Providence.
Good point.
I think it did say that her parents survived her. So that is a logical train of thought, Janet, to say they might have wanted to bury their daughter back home. But yeah, I think Frank's right. She's probably buried at St. Paul's. Oh, and we did some digging on the a little bit more digging on the Hindu religion itself and some of that iconography we saw in his home, and that interesting. We thought it was a knife. We thought it was a weapon. Turns out it's not. It's really not. It's something used in religious ceremony. It's interesting.
Yeah, I really thought for sure it was quite a sinister looking artifact
Janet,
myself.
Me too.
I wonder what type of ceremonies it was used for, especially before Mr. Corbitt got it. I wonder if it was made brand new and he got it as a tourist item, or was it actually used maybe in some rituals and then he picked it up. That'd be interesting if there's a history behind it.
Yes, perhaps I'll ask him next time. I bet that's an interesting story in itself. India, vignettes and travel.
Excuse me, I got something I just remembered I had to take care of. I will see you guys a little bit later, all right?
Of course, Andy.
Okay,
Here's
See you
a
later.
couple bucks.
All right.
Yeah, sorry about that.
No worries, Andy. Always good to see you.
I would like Clara, Olivia, Grant, and Frank to do spot hits.
Oh no, that's a 97. No.
Where's my spot hidden? There it is.
That is a success.
I failed terribly.
Okay.
78 out of 70.
Okay. So the way you guys are sitting at the table, Clara and Clark and Frank, you see nothing. But Janet, when just a second before Officer Andy said that, he stretched his neck like he was looking at something outside. And you glanced over and you see Randolph Tomaszowski walking down the street, like away from the hospital towards wherever, in the other direction. So you see, and then of course, Officer Eddie excuses himself and stands up and starts walking towards the door.
As soon as he's out of earshot, I think he's after that man. The jackal suspect, the
Kalozowski?
Tomawaski,
Tomatowski?
Totagani? Yes.
Tomaszowski?
Yes, that one. Look. I mean, don't look like you're looking, but look.
God.
Go figure, the professional snoop of the neighborhood teaching me how to snoop.
So you say that just as Officer Andy is going out the door and the little bell on the door, ding, 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 like this. So yeah, you definitely see Officer Andy going in that direction. What do the four of you do?
Watch intently.
Well, in a second, they'll be out of the sight because you're looking out the window of the restaurant.
Do you think Andy might need help? I mean, he could be dangerous.
I don't know. Should we go after him?
Well, we shouldn't we shouldn't stop him from doing his business, but I'd want to maybe stay back and make sure he's okay.
Let's go, Clark. Grab my handbag and run after Clark.
Oh, and I make sure I put a couple dollars down on the table to cover all of the tip and the pie and the coffee and everything that I have.
Frank, what are you going to do?
Set the pie down and fine, I'll follow along.
So the three of you are Dr. Claire, are you getting up?
I suppose so. I'll settle the bill and then follow,
right.
But I'm not running out.
All right. So the four of you go out the door, and Andy has already gotten maybe
Frank turns
30,
around,
30 feet away.
and then comes along.
Officer Andy, do a call it a stealth roll.
All right. Regular success.
All right. Tomaszowski, you're pretty sure Tomaszowski is heading towards his apartment.
All right.
Okay.
I'm gonna hang back a little bit, but keep on. See if he's has any contact with what shops he goes into as he's heading that way.
Okay. He doesn't seem to be going into shops. It looks like he's going somewhere.
All right.
You know.
I'm just gonna follow from a distance.
Okay. So as you're walking along, he looks skittish. So, he's kind of looking around as he's going, but you're a ways behind him. Are you on the opposite side of the street, or did you cross the street?
I'm probably going to be probably be better if I'm on the same side of the street, because if he does a glance back, he might see me on the opposite. So I'm going to be on the same side he is on.
Okay. So you cross the street and you're on the same side as him. Now, it's the day after 4th of July. It's a busy day. There are people out. It's the middle of the day. There's never a huge crowd in Arkham, but there are other people around, and there are cars in the street. So of course you manage to cross the street without any problem. People stop. It's not crazy. The four of you, what are you doing? You see him cross the street to get behind Tomaszowski.
I'll stay a block away from him. Like I don't want to be. I want to be like far within sight, but not cramping his style at all.
Okay.
Like a whole block.
You're all together then? All right. Tomaszowski gets to the end of the street and he stops and he reaches in his pocket and he pulls out a cigarette and he lights the cigarette. And as he's standing there, he's turning back and forth. And he's going to look straight back. You can tell that he's about to do that.
I'm going to step into I assume there's businesses with that.
Right.
I'm going to step in one of those. So
all right. So do another stealth roll just to see if you manage to do it.
All right. Ooh, a hard success.
Okay. So just as you see him glancing, or just before he glances, you step into the front end of a store, the little cubby. And so he doesn't see you, but he does see the four of you a block back. And he sort of, we'll say, Andy, that what you are looking at is you're looking through glass into the display case, out the front of the glass. So you can still see him, but very likely he can't see you. He glances and he sees the four of you standing there, like looking in his direction. And he stamps out the cigarette and he starts walking away faster. Andy, what do you do?
I see he's a little bit like he's noticed something. I take a quick glance back just to see if I noticed what he noticed.
Yeah, you see the four of them. And they're now starting to catch up towards where you were.
He's on the fear now, so I might as well just wait till they catch up. Because he's
So they catch up. And they come around the corner. They didn't see where you went.
Yeah. I step out. I go,
Oh. Andy, are you all done with what you were doing?
It seems that my friend, the person I was following, seems to have noticed you four.
Oh, well, we were just walking and talking, having a nice restorative before Clark goes back to work.
Of course. Well, why don't I come along with you and we can head home, okay?
Sure, yeah, if you're done with what you're doing.
Oh, yes, I'm pretty much done with what I'm doing.
Oh, I'm so sorry, Andy.
It's okay.
I didn't know you were on the job. I thought you were off work here.
That's all right. This is more of something I'm investigating on my own.
Okay, I'm so sorry. I'll give you
okay.
ample distance. next time.
You didn't know? I've been trying to keep it under my hat.
Everybody do a spot hidden.
Wasn't that man?
Ooh, 95.
You notice a really,
Questions run
really interesting vacuum cleaner inside the shop.
Oh, yeah.
7.
Yeah.
So
Yeah,
regular
I have
success.
I had a hard success. Because I'm
Okay.
probably checking.
I'm spending 10 luck to pass this because I got 10 off of my
You don't need to spend
regular
luck.
spotted.
Don't spend any luck. How about you, Dr. Clara?
Okay.
You didn't pass? All right. So as you guys are standing there discussing this, Officer Andy, you glance, and Janet, you're always glancing. You notice that he stopped a ways away, and when you look over in his direction, he's looking right back at you guys, and then he takes off running down an alleyway.
Andy, that man is clearly up to no good.
Yeah, but unfortunately, he was kind of given, his cockles got up, basically. Don't worry about it. I'm quite sure that, with time, I'll be able to check him out. He's got a head start. He's at least a block or so ahead. And he knows he's being followed, so it's not going to do me any good anymore. I was trying to follow him so that I could find out who he had contact with.
Well,
I'm trying to build a case is what I'm trying to do.
Well,
it's on my own time.
It looked like he saw us and not you, so maybe he has no idea it's you that's looking. So,
Well, I did see my back, at least talking to you guys, so he might think that I had something to do with it. I don't know if he recognized me from this distance or not. But,
Maybe we could cut him off.
I doubt we'd have to run through the streets, and it would just give him more emphasis in believing he was being followed. Or I'd rather just let him think that maybe he was mistaken, seeing that he was not followed.
yeah.
He could be disposing of evidence.
This might be a good time then for the four of us, not you, Andy, but for the four of us to loiter around here a little bit longer and do window shopping like we were actually here.
Oh, that's what you guys want to do. I mean, I know where direction he was heading towards. It looked like he was heading back towards his apartment, but he seemed to have I could tell just by his demeanor that he might have been planning to meet someone. Hopefully I'll be able to find out later on.
Very interesting.
All right. So,
Certainly suspicious.
unless you want to do something else, you spend a little time out there, but then you probably end up going back to your neighborhoods.
Mm-hmm. I'd rather have him think that you were looking for me than anything else, because if he takes a peek back and sees that we're hanging together and chit-chatting and looking at the stores, maybe he'll get another idea. Yeah.
When we return to our neighborhood, is Mr. Corbitt's car pulled into the driveway?
Yes, it's there. You've gotten home. I don't know. Probably in there. I'm sorry. If you're getting, I'm kind of confused about time. Are we there about 5 o'clock getting home?
That sounds fair.
Okay. Yeah. So 5:15 or so is when he pulls into his driveway, and he gets out and goes into the house. And if he sees you, he gives you a friendly nod and goes in.
Just for logistics purposes and envisioning, I forgot the map. Who is on the side of the street that Mr. Corbitt's on the side of Mr. Corbitt's property that has the greenhouse and gardens? So is the greenhouse and gardens more on Clara's side or Andy's side? Okay, so Andy's side would be the greenhouse side. Okay. And Clara's side would be the vegetable garden side. Okay, perfect.
Okay. So are you all going home or are you going to congregate for a while?
Since I'm here, I'll at least walk him home.
Okay.
I must see to the cats, so I will just go home for the evening and retire.
Yeah, and I'll walk you, by your house because we're neighbors. So I'll just keep on walking on by. Have a good night, Janet. Take care, Clara.
Right. So you all go to your respective homes. Is there anything anybody wants to do?
I'll make a quick call to Dave just to let him know that I was following him, and I think I was spotted, or at least he was suspicious enough that he decided to peel away. That way, Dave is up to up on what's been going on.
Okay. All right. Evening comes and evening goes. And the next morning, once again, we are back to regular work days. Clark goes into work. Frank goes into work. Officer Andy goes into work. Claire is working on her historical art and documents and whatever she wants to be working on. And Janet, you are maybe cleaning the house or whatever.
Pretending I'm writing.
Okay, you're pretending you're writing. Is there anything you all would like to do today?
I would like to return to the library because I'm going to look up the dangerous plants of North America.
Okay.
And if Clara's at home, I will invite her to come with me.
Okay.
Of course. Always look for a nice opportunity to get out.
All
of the
right.
house.
So you guys are going to look for poisons and dangerous plants. In whatever spare time you have for the other three, what would you like to do?
Yeah, I'm going to see maybe since Tomaszewski had a rap sheet. Some of the stuff he did, he had to go through a pawn shop or a few other things. See what I can find out about his past associates or about him from past associates.
Okay. What you find is not an incredibly long list, but there's a lot more of it the younger he gets, which probably means that he's gotten more clever as time goes along. He seems to, a complaint that comes up quite a bit is a sort of a negative reaction to any kind of religious talk. People being polite have invited him to church, and he's quite anti-religion, at least anti-Christianity, anti-Judaism or anything like that. And that sometimes causes him problems at work, getting into scrapes. He has a problem with authority. That's the kind of stuff that you see on his record. When he was younger, you see that he gets into a lot of fights, that there's a lot of little petty theft stuff. Just in general, everywhere. Arkham's not that big of a town, so there's little bits and pieces from all over. But lately, there's been nothing like theft or anything like that. The most obvious thing lately is probably due to his anti-religious association or possible suspect of being a Satanist in Arkham. And that's why maybe that they suspected that he might be some sort of weird animal sacrifices or something. Which you don't know for sure, but you definitely confirmed, excuse me, that he has an association with Satanism.
Right. It's just gathering more proof. Would I know anyone that anyone that's part of that we have flipped, or I could get more information from?
Not really. I mean, I'm pretty much giving you all the information.
All right. At least that's more than I had. I'm going to give him I'm going to try to, like I said, right now, trying to follow him right now would be a bad idea. I'm going to wait a few days, maybe a week, and try to keep an eye on him again, because he might recognize me. And plus, he's probably really antsy right now.
Well, do an idea roll for me.
All right. I'll spend 1 point to make that a success.
Okay. Your past experience with punks like this is you can sometimes get them to squeal if you corner them.
All right. Well, then I'm going to try to do that. I know where he works. And, I know when he gets off, so I'm going to try to corner him as he's getting off.
Okay.
Maybe with a little bit, if I can, have the make sure that my friend at the hospital lets me know when he's, in his locker, at his locker, and kind of corner him then.
Okay. So you're gonna corner him when he's in the locker.
Yeah.
All right. Did you want to take anyone with you?
Yeah. Well, do I want to? I'm going to see if Dave is available first.
Okay. So once again, playing Dave, Whitethorn is our quick change artist prop magician, Stuart Lively. All right. So the two of you approach. You've already called the security guy. Security guy says, yeah, he just went into the lockers. You can probably catch him in there. You can catch him with his pants down.
Yep, that's what we're thinking.
I'll go around back and cover the exit while you can grill him.
All right. I go out there. Tom Zinsky.
You're going to go cover the exit in the back of the. There's like a dozen exits to the hospital.
Oh, just to the room he's in.
There's only one entrance or exit.
Okay. Well, then I will, as we enter, I will stay at that exit.
Okay.
So there's no way for him to go.
All right. Let's see if Tomaszowski is taking a shower. He is not taking a shower, but he is in front of his locker, and he's taking off his scrubs, or not scrubs, but his orderly clothes, and he's putting on his jacket. All right, so he's doing that as you come inside.
Yeah.
Officer, well, before I ask you, officer, are you addressed as a police officer?
Yes, I am.
Okay. All right. So go.
Yeah. Randolph, I was hoping to catch you here.
What the fuck? What do you want?
Just want to know what you've been up to lately.
And as he says that, I make sure the door closes loudly, and I stand in front of it.
Okay. What the fuck's going on? I didn't do anything. What are you doing?
That's what they always say. Now, you know, and I know that you've been up to things lately. It's about time you come clean.
Do a psychology roll. You can both do psychology rolls. You're both cops.
All right. Ooh, that is a hard success.
All right. You see a look come over his face that you've recognized before. It's the look of a cornered animal about to either attack or flee.
All right. I am ready to block him, but I'm also, my other hand is at where my billy club, where I can easily get my billy club.
Okay. So he's almost looks like a deer in the headlights. He's frozen at anything you're saying to him.
All right. Now, why don't you make it easy on yourself? Why don't you tell me what you've been up to, particularly with these animals?
And suddenly he bolts for the shower. Okay.
Right, I'm going to try to tackle him. Or,
okay. See if you can brawl tackle.
It's a brawl, right?
Yeah.
All right. 15. That is 3 points away from an extreme success. So it's a hard success.
Okay. All right. You tackle him as he dive. It almost turns into a dive because he's getting ready to run into the showers. And when you tackle him, you grab his legs and he goes down. He got a 99. So I am going to say that as he goes down, there is that tiled lip going into the showers. And he strikes that full force with the side of his head. And there is a horrible crunching noise. And blood sort of spatters onto the ground in front of it. And you're not sure if he's unconscious or not, but he's definitely twitching as he is.
Hey, Dave, get a med team in here. She tried to run, escape, and
on it. Pulling in med team right now.
All right.
All right. Medical team comes in. There's a medical emergency. They come in. They take him. Do a luck roll.
All right. What is my luck? Just got it. 65.
Okay. Okay. So they take him in, and your friend is like, "What the hell happened?"
I started questioning me. They decided to take a run for it. Tried
Run
to grab
for
him.
it?
Yeah.
Shit. I don't know what to do in this case. You guys are the police officers. Say he was resisting arrest?
Yeah.
Or
That's what I would say. Resisting arrest.
Yeah, when he was approached to be questioned, he spooked and started running and slipped in the shower.
do you stick around to find out what's going on?
Yeah, I do.
Yeah, I'll do that. It's my beaten area, so. Plus, I probably know some of the medical team in the emergency, so.
Okay. They do what they can for him, but he dies. What? I'm not sure how police. I suppose police, you're going to be able to say that you were questioning him and he ran and slipped, and you will be believed. But he's dead.
Yeah. Well, we're going to collect it. You know, he was still in his, he hadn't changed into his regular clothes, right?
He was halfway changed. Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
I'm going to see if we can get a hold of his apartment keys.
Okay. Yes, that's easy for you to do.
And say, Dave, why don't we check out his apartment? I'm quite sure if there's any evidence, we'll find it there.
Right. At this point, we should
Bad
probably
luck on his part. He shouldn't have tried to run.
we should if we should probably contact the inspector on duty.
Yeah.
To start work for a warrant search.
Yeah. Called in.
All right, there's a lot of uncomfortable questions that are asked. What was he suspected of? Why did he, exactly what you'd expect. But within, I don't know anything about police procedure. Within half an hour or so, you have a warrant. You have permission to search his place. And any irregularities, the police are going to cover that up.
Okay.
All right, so what would you like to do?
Well, I guess Dave and I are going to head to his apartment, check it out.
All right. So you arrive at his apartment, which is dark. And you gain access. So you're going to go up and start looking around. The apartment is unusually dark. It looks like he has black curtains and he has black shades that he can close up. I don't think you need to do a spot hidden. Let me just describe it for you. When you walk into the apartment reeks. Not so much like unusual reek, but like somebody who never cleans their apartment. The place is filthy. There are food wrappers and things on the floor. The guy never picks up after himself. There's dirty laundry. There are stains on the furniture. And directly across the room, there is a little table set up with this.
Oh, Jesus. Take a look at this, Dave.
Yeah.
And I think, I was hitting the nail on the button. Why don't we carefully take that knife? It might have some blood stains.
Yeah.
Of animals and stuff like that.
I'm suspecting we brought, with the warrant, we brought a camera for such search. Yeah, so start doing...
taking pictures of it all?
Taking pictures of all the evidence and such.
You want to help me with the ice box after you get the photos of this room?
Yes,
I have a funny feeling we're going to find something in the ice box.
Yeah.
I want to make sure we have a photo of it.
You go to the ice box and you open it up, and there are a lot of old things in there and other things. But amidst the beer and vegetables and other things, you do find some odd-looking pieces of meat that don't look like they came from a chicken or a pig or a cow. You're thinking dog and cat, maybe?
Yeah. All right. So pictures of that, and more than one. I want to make sure that when we get them to our developers that they did
I think we should take this to the coroner that's at the hospital. Maybe they can tell us what it is.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, you can almost tell, because if it's got a paw or if it's got a cat.
Yeah, but we take photos, but I'm going to gather it all up and take it in as evidence. Anything in the freezer?
Probably a few more pieces like that.
Photos.
Do a spot hidden as well.
Ooh, finally. Oh my gosh, that's a 1. That's a 1. It's
Sweet.
a 001.
Okay.
Nice.
What did you get, Officer Andy?
I just had a regular success.
Okay. So, Officer Andy, as you are looking around the room, you also see evidence of drug use. a number of little vials of what smell like. Could be heroin, could be laudanum, could be other versions of hallucinogenic drugs. Some that you can't identify, some that just have residues of various things that he's been using. So he's obviously a little whacked out. Officer Whitehorn is also looking for such things, and he's walking around. And to him, one thing stands out as odd in this setting, in this apartment. And he reaches out and picks it up and says, "What do you think of this?" And you turn, and as you turn and you look at it, he's holding a very nice looking basket with fruits and vegetables in it that seem extremely familiar. And that's where we're going to end our show for tonight. Our players included Holly Buto, Stephanie Mann, Oren Meyer, Jeff Beck, and Stuart Lipley, with myself as the Keeper of the Secrets. We have a Discord server where you can chat with our other members. You can set up private games and learn the finer arts of gameplay and game mastering. There's a link below. We provide audio-only versions of our shows for you to download from Podbean or iTunes. The costs involved with the show are provided almost entirely by our patrons. Without them, we wouldn't be able to do what we do. We have a new patron. Saren Frost has pledged $3 a month to our channel. Thank you so much, Saren. If you'd also like to help support our show, please visit our Patreon account. Just $1 to a month helps us a lot. You can find a link in the description below. Like, share, and subscribe to our channel and punch the bell icon for updates on our latest shows. And leave us some comments. We enjoy reading them and answer any questions you might have. This is Tom Rayleigh, together with all the members of our gaming club, inviting you to journey with us once again into the darkness for another adventure into the universe of H.P. Lovecraft and the Call of Cthulhu role-playing game. Until next time, good luck and good gaming.